What is up, everybody? I hope you're all well. So last time I left you guys with the selection UI. So it was the ability to kind of select elements, or at least outline them. And this morning I've been working on how to get the screenshot working. So when you select an element, you can then screenshot it. So I'll give you a quick demo. So just reset my extension, move you guys to the middle. And so there's a few ways I can do this, right? So I've got this ugly for now UI, so you can click take screenshot, and then you can also do it through the context menu. So these are two ways you'll be able to kind of take a screenshot. So if you click on one, you can see that it's added this little other shitty UI. Obviously, I'll clean it all up, and then you can kind of select the elements as before. But now when you click on something, it actually takes a screenshot. How's that, hey? So you can click on like a button or the whole header. It's a bit slow with the recording, but you get the idea. And yeah, so that's sort of working. So there's a couple things I want to do today. So I want to change this UI. So instead of like clicking the element and it opening or downloading the image straight away, for example, I want to do it more like how Firefox does it. So you can you'll have this kind of UI, so you can do the visible page or the whole page, and then you can also select, when you select an element, it actually creates this crop menu. And so today I want to build that. So kind of change the UI a little bit and build this sort of crop thing, and then you'll be able to save it onto, download it or save it, I guess. So we'll do that. So that'll be cool. And secondly, I want to show, well, before that, I'm going to show you how this all works. So how do I take the screenshot of something? So yeah. But before we jump into that, I guess I left you guys yesterday telling you about how this click UI works. Sorry, the clicking works. So for example, like this is a link, right? And so the default click event will open up a new page. And this will actually happen on this because this is a real website. But when you are, so in this case, I'm interacting with the DOM. So I need to be able to like override that click. And so I explained to you yesterday how that worked. And so this is it in action. So when you click, it doesn't click the link, it takes you away. And so, yeah, that's cool. So yeah, that's it working. Let's show you how it works. So like I mentioned yesterday, I think, there's two scripts that I'm interacting with here. There's something called a content script and a background script. And so the content script's really, it's literally interacting with the web page, right? Or the website. It's injecting JavaScript and styling and whatever you need into the actual web page itself. So you can interact with the DOM and that kind of stuff. And so that's what's happening here. The background script is actually allowing you to do or interact with some Chrome APIs. So in the case of this guy, the Chrome API that I'm using is to take the screenshot itself. So that's not available from the front end. I have to send it to the background. Chrome will process that, and then I can send it back to the front end. And it's the same with the tab, or the creating the new tab. So when I click on it, not only does it save that screenshot, but it also opens it in a new tab. And so that's something you have to do by Chrome, the Chrome background. I think you have to do it through the background. I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of the general idea of it. So let's just have a look at what those do. So I'll start with the background, actually. It's the backgrounds is a bit simpler. So this is just like an uninstalled thing. I actually have this is the interesting bit. So this is where Chrome is listening to messages from places. So for example, the pop-up can send messages to the background. So this guy, or the context menu can send messages. So that's kind of how Chrome works. You send these little messages. And the way you interact with that is through this listener API. And so try to keep the background really, really minimal. So you can see I'm only using 3 API calls here. So the download and the create and the capture visible tab. So the download lets me do the downloading of the image. You can do that from the front end, but not through this API. What you have to do is, maybe you can do it through the API. I don't know. I don't think you can. But from the front end, usually you have to create a like a link, and then like a hidden link, and then click the link. It's kind of a backwards way of doing stuff. You can't just say download this file. I don't think, at least. So Chrome has a nice API for that. You also have the tabs create. So like I said, when I click on something, it then outputs the final results in a new tab. So that's that API working. And then the capture visible tab. This is the actual screenshot API that Chrome has. So yeah, and as you can see, I'm not doing any processing here. I could do that. So I could, for example, crop the image to select that element. I could do that in here and do some magic stuff. But I wanted to keep the code in one place, right? Because you're doing some logic in the front end to capture the size of that element. And there's also some UI stuff going on. But I really want to keep all the code there, you know? So I've done this kind of stuff before, where I'm taking a screenshot of something and cropping it. But having code in the front end and the back end, which is kind of doing the same stuff, made it a bit complicated. So I've tried to keep it all in the front end and keep this back end API call stuff really minimal. So you can see I just directly pass that response back. Back. So I'm using this little custom API here, or wrapper, I should say. So I've got a background wrapper. So I use that from the front end to call to the back end. And then this content wrapper, which allows you to call the content script from the back end, if that makes sense. So it's just like easy way for me to do these messages. Another thing to note is I'm also using, to test some of the UI stuff, which I'll do today. I'm using this live HTML file. So it's basically like I think I showed you yesterday, but I'm using Parcel to run the content script, but locally. So I'm not using Chrome to do some of the UI testing. That's because every time I update the code, I got to come to Chrome and click refresh, right? It's kind of a pain. So I'm using this live HTML file, but I want to use the same code, right? So I've set up, so this is my content script. And then as I load the live page, I'm running that inject or the init content script stuff. And then it works exactly the same. So it's the same code base as the Chrome script, as the Chrome logic and stuff. But instead of, well, one thing is like Chrome doesn't have access to, sorry, the front end doesn't have, where the hell is this crosstab messages, maybe? No, utils? Yeah, sorry. The front end doesn't have access to Chrome because I'm running it locally, right? So it has no concept of what the Chrome API is because it's just a normal website. So I have to do this like little is Chrome thing, which kind of works like this. So Chrome will be undefined. So you can't just do Chrome and something, because Chrome, it will actually still throw an error because Chrome is not a defined variable. It's not null or undefined. It's like it doesn't exist. And so you have to do this type of Chrome is undefined, or in this case is not undefined, and then you can use that variable. Found that out the hard way. So yeah, now you can safely have, well, I can safely have the Chrome script working as it normally would, but then also test the UI stuff without having to worry about running into errors with Chrome API calls that don't exist. Sorry, I'm rambling on here again. So yeah, that's the background, and then the front end works in the same way. Where is it? Okay, so it's using this crosstab message stuff. So it's doing the same logic, right? So you're subscribing to the Chrome messages through this guy, but instead of having all the logic in here with like if statements, so it's like if it's a screenshot, if it's the initial load, I wanted to keep the logic away because it's going to be a lot of logic, or a fair bit of logic. So instead I'm saving the actions and then allowing functions to subscribe themselves to these actions, tab actions. So that means when I'm in, for example, when I load the page, I want to listen for the action, and then I'm going to run this init action. And then that's going to, when that message is received by the content script, it then can call this initialize code. So that's kind of how it works. You can create these little listen for actions as and when you need them, rather than have them all in that big if statement. So that means I can keep the code sort of minimal. So in this case, from the front end, so in this case, this little button here, it's going to call the screenshot page logic. And then it does a capture tab. So that's the screenshot function API call I have to do to the backend. And I'm going to use this action that I've defined, which is just an enum with TypeScript. You can see here. And then I'm then going to listen for that action and then run this code when that action is received. So once the background finishes, it sends that action back. And that's how that works. So it seems to be working kind of pretty well. So yeah, I guess but the main interesting logic, okay, this is where the cropping happens, right? So you click on the crop, it takes a screenshot of the whole page and sends it back to the content script. So that's happening here. So I'm calling this function from the UI that's going to process some stuff and then do the API call. And then I'm going to listen for that action's response, and then I can do stuff with it. So I'll show you how that works. So when this gets called, it's basically giving me an element, which is the selected element. And then I can what I have to do is kind of capture its coordinates, right? But it's not so easy because let's say, so when you click on the image, or let's say this element, the coordinates that you're going to get back are relative to the document. So this is a little jQuery function I'm calling offset, and that gives me back a left and top position. But the problem is that the screenshot that you save has no concept of that, and so there's like this big offset you can see. So there's all this distance. So that's this y coordinate that's going to come back. It's going to be huge, right? But in terms of the screenshot, it's only like 50 pixels. So the top is then, you have to basically offset that Y scroll. And so that's kind of what that's doing. So you then have to do the same for the left. And then the width and the height is okay. But it's a similar issue with with scrolling. So for example, this whole header, right? If I scroll down a little bit and click on this header, the top of the header is actually relative to the documents, and so that's going to return as 0. But when you offset the scroll, it's then going to be negative. Yeah, it's going to be negative. So, but what you actually want is 0, right? Because the screenshot that you come or get is going to be 0 from the top up to this middle point, and so it doesn't care about this stuff off screen. And so you have to offset that that negative space as well from the width and the height. It's not hard, but I don't think I'm explaining it well. Anyway, it's kind of simple logic once you know what's going on. And then the final part of the process is you have to account for the device ratio. So I'm using Chrome, and my device has a ratio of 1.5. So every pixel that comes out of this guy, so this guy might be, I don't know, 200 pixels wide, but the actual pixels that Chrome captures are going to be, in this case, 300 pixels wide, because it's a 1.5 pixel ratio. So the pixels that are returned are different. So you've got to account for all of that as well. Anyway, once you've done that, you can then send that off. Well, I send that off to the background, and then with these dimensions as part of the data. And then when I receive this stuff, these dimensions are now in the request here. And then I can then use a canvas to actually save that as an image. So I'm creating an image here. I'm setting the source as the data that's returned by Chrome. So it's directly from Chrome's response, API response. And then I use a canvas here to actually do the cropping. So you can see that there's a whole bunch of properties here. But basically you have the first four, and that's going to define the, so if you imagine this whole screen is the image, it's defining where you want to take a slice from or a crop from. So in this case of the sign up, it's going to be a few hundred pixels left and from the top, and then a few hundred wide and stuff. And then these second arguments are where do you put those images or put those pixels. And so it's the same width and height because we're not scaling anything, but the position is 0, 0. So it's essentially moving the sign up element right to the top left. And then the actual size of the canvas is the same size as well. So what happens when you click on that, it returns the perfect size for you. I hope that made sense, but it's not too tricky. And then I'm doing a create tab here, so that's where it pops out a new tab. And so today, what I want to do is actually kind of create this that UI I was talking about. So instead of clicking on this and it automatically exports the image, I want to click on it and then be able to recrop that image and then save the screenshot. So I want to do that for you today. So it's enough rambling of stuff. Let's get code in, man. Okay, so first things first is I need to load up my test server. So npm run dev. So like I said, I'm using npm start to do the Chrome extension stuff, and then npm run dev I'm using to create that little test server for me, so I can just test stuff. So we'll use Firefox for that, I guess. So yeah, you can see that it's auto injected all the code for me, and then yeah, but when I click on stuff, it doesn't do anything because it hasn't got access to those Chrome APIs. But it still works UI wise and is the same way. And that's all we need for today. So this is the logic that gets run. So when I click on an element, it's going to run this like calculation logic. And then we're running this background capture tab. So we actually want to do this a bit later. And I left this in here, but this is a good thing to know. So console.table, it's quite a useful little thing. So I'll show you what that does. So I'm sure you're familiar with console.log, but console.table exports stuff as a table, man. So it, these are the variables that I'm inputting, and then it basically maps all the properties of those variables together. So in this case, I got ratio, dimensions, offset, which are these guys, but these are objects themselves that have properties like top, left, width, and height, and or just value, which is the default if it's got no properties. And so it's really cool. So now I can see everything in a tabular way instead of having to do like multiple lines of if statements and that kind of thing. So quite nice to use. So I'll get rid of that. And then when we click on this element, we actually, I guess what we want to do is create like a UI, a floating UI above everything, which we can then position ourselves, right? And so we have to inject a new little app. So I'll show you what this content script does. So when the content script, where are we? Content script runs. I'm running this little bit of code here, which actually injects a parcel, Preact. So I'm using Preact, not React. It's running a Preact component or app, I guess, into the page. So I'm using jQuery to inject a div with these classes. So it's going to Z50 is going to bring it above on the Z axis, above everything else, hopefully. and then a relative, which lets me, it's not absolute, which is interesting. Where is it? Yeah, I guess not. Oh, okay. This is all fixed. Okay, cool. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on there. So it's just injecting a div, and then I can use preact to inject or to inject my own logic in there. And so that's what this guy's doing. So I think I'm going to do the same thing. I could bring them into or map them into the same preact component, but I think it's just easier to do a separate one for now. So I think we'll do, we're going to create crop UI. And this is going to inject my little stuff there. And then I'm going to create a little preact component. So I don't want the buttons, maybe just say crop UI. Working, baby. Whatever. So then we'll call that from this guy. So it looks like we're getting an error. So I think that's because TS file. Okay, cool. So I've had this issue a few times. So even though I'm not referencing like screenshot.ts specifically anywhere, instead I'm using like a screenshot. Parcel actually caches files. So what I have to do is like save this file again or update it. And then, no, maybe just restart the server. So if that works. Okay, cool. I did have issues even after restarting the server, or I've had issues before after resetting the server. So you physically have to change the file for it to like really pick up. So I think that should be working. Yeah, cool. So now when you click on stuff, it's okay. We haven't imported our jQuery and things, so we'll just bring these guys, paste them in there. Okay, cool. And then jQuery is not found. Oh, okay, that's because we're in a folder. Sweet. Okay. Why are you? Oh no, it's all good. That's because we're in a folder now, so I just had to jump up a folder there. Okay, so when I click on stuff, root ID is not defined. So let's make a little guy here. We'll just go crop ID. Oh. Crop root. I guess, and then do that, do that. We'll import these guys. Okay, I'm on IntelliSense. Okay, cool. Are we working? It's added, okay. Exported it. We're loading. Refresh. Okay, cool. Okay, so we got our little thing showing up there. Obviously, it looks like crap still, but that's okay. So I think, I don't know, let's have a look. If I just save that, refreshes the whole page. Okay, I think I might put these out here for a sec. Okay, cool. So just so it loads that on page load, just so I can like work with this UI. So this is going to be, I don't want fixed. So the difference between fixed and absolute is fixed will keep things in a fixed position, but as you scroll. Absolute will do it like absolute to the document. So you can scroll and the element will still like scroll with the document. So I think because in Firefox, if we click on stuff, you can still scroll and that UI is going to stick with it, right? So I want a absolute thing there. Or we don't want these. We don't want, okay. And I think we want to do, well, I wonder if style. I wonder if Preact actually has style. Yeah, I guess we want to do top stuff. I don't know, like 20 pixels, and then or does style want to be a class? String. Yeah, I think it wants to be a. So let's say top 20. Does that work? No. Okay, sweet. Seems to be working. And then we can do left of like 50. And our little crop UI is updating. Nice. Okay. So we have these dimensions. We want to pass them into this crop UI. Yes. And then how do we get access to this element? That's what I'm wondering. So I guess we could do the click. So we'll hide this for now. And then we're going to have dimensions. And you're going to be our dimensions. Man, Tedeson's is slow with there we go. The recording. Okay, so we've got our dimensions. Yeah, dimensions equals our dimensions, and we have props, which are going to be dimensions. Okay, and then we can do top equals dimensions dot left. Oh, wrong one, top, and then dot left. Put you guys back in the middle. So now when I click on something, it breaks. Dimensions not defined. It's because it's props.dimensions. Okay, let's see how that works. Did it work? It's not doing much. So it's not rendering anything. Let's just see if this works. So click on something. It's hitting the debug. Our dimensions is populated. Cool. So if we do our props is got dimensions, cool. So props dimensions dot top dot left should work. But I don't see anything. Crop root, where are you? This guy. Yeah, where are you, man? Weird. Okay, let's try so position absolute, z index like a million, background color blue. Oh, okay, it's down here. Why are you so far away? Ooh, is it because we're doing it's got a ratio of stuff. Maybe that's why. But top is dimensions.top, left is dimensions.left. That should work. Maybe instead of applying the ratio, I can add a ratio here. So ratio will be a number on my dimensions, and then include ratio here. And then I don't have to do this crap, right? Boom, boom, boom. You're not familiar with cross-line manipulation? In VS Code, I think it's like Shift-Alt, up and down, and then you have independent cursors. Super handy. So I can go end line, start line, end line, and then kind of do stuff as I would on a single line, but it would apply them independently. So you can do really cool stuff with that. So that seems to work. We're hitting the debugger still. It's not with you. So let's see. Click on that guy. It's popping you down here. Why so far away? So top. Oh, okay. That's because crop. I should set crop as 0, 0 because it's getting placed underneath everything. That's probably what's happening. So, so left 0 and then top 0, 2. I think that should fix it. Nope. Or did it? Nah. Okay. Why? Looking at the classes though. It's because it's the wrong element. My bad. Div relative 0, 0. Okay, that should be better. Let's get rid of you. Click on sign up. Oh man, what is going on? Crop root. Absolute. I guess body's not relative. Maybe that's why. Okay, so where are you now? Still underneath everything. Weird. So, oh, it's position relative. I want to do absolute. Absolute. Man, I'm sorry, guys. Okay, that looks better. Still not quite there, but okay, no, it seems to be working. Cool, okay. So obviously, this looks like crap, but that's okay. So I guess what we're going to do is we'll just say dimensions equals, just create a temp dimensions here. And then ratio, we'll just say 1. Top will be, 200. Left will be 100. Width will be 150 maybe. Height will be 250. So dimensions, pass that into our props. So now when the page loads, we should have our little thing pop up. Cool. And I don't know, BG blue 500, and then we'll maybe just apply the dimensions here. 1, 2, 3. So ratio is not going to apply stuff, but yeah, cool. So now I don't have to do top equals dimensions.top, whatever. I can just inline that whole thing. Cool. So we've got a little UI. So this is going to be the where am I? This kind of crop UI stuff. So I want to create this crop UI. So that's what the blue thing will be, but obviously it doesn't look like that yet. And then, so I guess the trick with this is we want like a background color, right? Like this darkish color. And then when you click on that, it will offset. Okay, it undoes the thing. So you can re-select the element. That's kind of nice. Or you can just cancel. And so to do that, I guess we need like a block on the left and the top and the right and the bottom. So we're going to need 4 elements and then offset them in whatever way. You can also drag this. Interesting. Okay, cool. So how do we do that? I guess we have a wrapper div. That's going to be our stuff here. So I guess, yeah, we do need these left and top. Or do we want any style here? I guess we interesting. I'm just thinking like because we wrap the whole screen, right? It creates this background that you can then pass events through. So you can click on elements. You click on an element, and then everything else becomes black, except for this. I think I'm just wondering about this drag UI because it's like we almost need an element on the top, element on the left, element on the right, element on the bottom, and then an actual element in the middle. So you can't drag stuff here. So if I drag it, just closes it. But you can drag the middle. So this little bit has to be an element. So let's just do that first, I guess, right? So we'll have a container, which is going to be wrapping the whole screen. And we don't need style on that. So I guess that's our little thing. We'll chuck a div in. Okay. And so this little guy is going to be our draggable thing, draggable element. It's going to be props.dimensions. And I guess it's just a container. Doesn't matter about the size. Okay, so that seems to be working. And so we're going to need a bunch of these, so 4 of these, right? So 4. And these will be absolute 2. And maybe we'll do like gray 200 and transparent, right? Does Tailwinds allow you to do transparent borders? Interesting. Tailwind CSS. Let's have a look. Transparency transition. border transparent, BG transparent. Okay, transparent. I don't think it does. Oh, opacity. That's what we want. My bad. Okay, that's cool. We'll do opacity of 50. So then we get like these little guys. Cool. And so, how do we do this? So I guess we want, okay, what we're going to do here, so it's not dimensions, but rather our, I don't know, this is the base. It's going to be our base position, right? Base position. And then top is going to be 0, left is going to be 0, right is going to be 0, and then bottom is going to be 0. And so these are the properties that absolute needs. Let's just say base. And here we can then apply a base. So base, and then we want specific offset. So these are going to apply. Did they work? Don't look like it. Maybe we'll apply base to the top two. So I'm hoping this works. Class name was this, and we want his style to be base 2. So base. So let's see if that works. Okay, we got our. Okay, that seems to work. Oh wait, no. Crop root. Okay, there we go. We got. It's like got 0 size. That's fine, I guess. But all of these things are going to be the same. It said 0, yeah. But because the width of this thing has, or the height of this thing is like 0, right? I don't know, 100%. And then width, 100%. Let's go left, 0, top, 0. That's it. Okay, that's better. So now, yeah, the problem is it's not. Okay, so the issue is like is I'm setting these 4 properties. These are going to be that transparent like background. These guys need to be fit within this box here. But the box needs to have a height full, like, I guess we could just use JavaScript, right? So width is going to be window, yeah, screw it, we'll do it live here. Okay, so width equals window dot width. I think we can do outer width, sure. Yeah, and then height is the same thing. Height, outer height. And so we scroll. Okay, cool. But we have like a secondary, we have a horizontal scroll here. So maybe it's inner. Let's see what happens when we do that. Inner height. Doesn't quite, oh, it does work, seems to be. Okay, cool. Why have I got divide opacity? Let's get rid of that. And then there should be transparent. Yeah, baby. And we can scroll a bit. We can fix the scrolling later. Yeah, it seems to work. Okay. I wonder if I could just use, yeah, man, let's just do this. Body dot offset. Wait, this is going to be size equals, oh no, we want body dot width and stuff. Actually, how do we do width? Offset height. Maybe that's better. We have offset, no. Interesting. Maybe we'll just do body like this, yeah? Body, and then we'll do body dot offset width. Let's see if that fixes the height issue here. Okay, that should work, I think. But I guess the height, crop root. So for some reason, our body has 0 width and height. Great. Maybe Windows better. We still have that scroll. I think the window was working because we still have the scroll issue. Unless that's caused by this crop root. Remove crop root? Yeah, it is. Crop root's doing some funny business. Yeah, whatever. We'll just leave it as window. Yeah. Okay, it somewhat works. Maybe I'll fix that in my own time. But yeah. Whatever. Okay, so we're applying this base thing. So now what I want to do is actually offset the sizes so that they wrap around this middle bit. It's a bit hard to explain, but I think what I'm going to do, so we'll say this is the top one, right? So the bottom has to be, what does it have to be? It has to be the position of the top. So it's going to be dimensions.top. And so that should do nothing. Let's just code it up and see what happens. So we'll say that's the okay, the bottom works, and we'll do the, let's just do the left, yeah. So we're, sorry. Okay, so we'll say left, top, right, bottom. So I'm talking about this left block here. So the left block is going to be fixed, so top, left, and bottom, and then the right-hand side has to be to the left of the dimensions, that middle block we're talking about. So in this case, we're the left block, so the right has to be dimensions left. And then this is going to be the top block. And so the bottom has to be dimensions.top. This is going to be the right block. So the left has to be that. And then this is going to be the bottom block. So the top has to be that. Let's see if that fixes itself. Yes. Okay, it's kind of done something. Oh, okay. Right doesn't exist because it's a width thing, right? So it's going to be like the whole width divided by, sorry, minus that. So we'll bring these out. So width is going to equal that guy, height is going to equal that guy, and so left is going to be the width minus dimensions dot width. So that's the screen width dimension minus that, right? And then the height, so the top is going to be height minus dimensions dot height. Yeah, I think that should work. I think my telesense is slow. Okay, that's cool. And so why don't we see you? Crop root. Okay, is this guy? Oh, okay. Same issue as before, right? Width and height. Okay, cool. So it's kind of doing something. Not quite what I was expecting. I was trying to get it so that I would wrap, basically I should see gray around this blue. That's kind of what the idea is. So let's inspect you guys. So this element is the top, it's the bottom. If we refresh the page, interesting. So base, okay. Okay, this is the issue with because the base is insetting it relative to the window, and we want it to be everything relative to the kind of the whole document, So we've got to think of it a bit better. So if I refresh that, yeah, this is changing. Curious why the top is so big still. I've even done this wrong, haven't I? No, wait, right. No, I got this wrong. So that should be width. It should be height. That fixes that. Okay, I've got that working. And then right bottom. Left. Sorry, this is wrong. Left and then top. I mean, it looks a bit better, right? Okay, wait. It's like simple adding and subtracting. Why is it so hard? So, okay. We got our dimensions. Dimensions has a left and top property and a width and a height property. So we also have a window width. So the left position of the right panel, so that's this guy here, is the window width minus the left and then minus the width. It's width minus dimensions dot left and then dimensions dot whatever, right? And then dimensions doesn't even exist. It's a custom property. I think we're going to do D equals props dot dimensions. Just because I'm spending a lot of, let's make my screen really wide. Do this, do that, and then we'll do this. Okay, that should fix that. And then it's going to be minus d dot width, but also d dot left. I really hope. Doesn't seem to be doing it. Where's our blue thing now? Props dot, no, d. Okay. So right is 0. Why is this guy not working? So it's the full window width minus the width of this blue bit minus the left part of that blue bit, the left position of that blue bit. What the fuck? All right, let's have a look. Minus d dot top. So dimensions dot top, dimensions dot height, total height minus all of that. I mean, it's doing something. Let's chuck a debug in here. Debugger. Okay. Come on, let me scroll. Oh, okay. Refresh that. Hit the debug. So we've got a window width of 852. Nothing's rendered yet. Okay, whatever. So 852.433. And then base is 00. Okay, that's cool. And then D is the size of that stuff. Okay. 852.433. Let's see. That's correct. Can I continue? Come on. Okay, and then 852.450. More or less the same. If I click on something. Okay, cool. So come on, man, what the fuck? Okay. Let's get rid of this debugger. Maybe I'll just force the position, eh? So in the case of the left one, okay. So the right block, its bottom has to be maybe I'll just do them by instead of okay. So what I'm doing now is like offsetting everything based on the left top right position, but that's relative to the screen that's visible. So when you scroll, that's why I'm getting this kind of crap. What I need to do is offset it by the document, but by left and right position, and then do a width and height on that. I think that'll be a bit easier to deal with. So the top and the left blocks are looking good. You can see that here, top and left. You can't, the left column there you can see. But in this case, the left of this guy is going to be the d.left plus d.width. Okay, and then that's cool. Okay, cool. So we got the stuff working, and it's doing the like offset of 0, right? So I mean, it looks okay now, but I think this second one's not going to work so well because I'll show you anyway. Left is 0, but top will be what is it going to be? It's going to be d.top plus d.height. Why did that happen? Can I stop selecting? Jesus. Okay. I think that worked. Okay, cool. So it seems to work. But like I said, the scrolling is not working because it's doing the base is still affecting it. So it's, saying my bottom is 0. And so that's part of the screen. And so when you scroll, that doesn't actually update. So instead, we need to get the width, the height, I guess, of that, this bottom space. And so that's going to be, maybe we'll do this, win height, win width, and then win height. Okay, cool. And then, so the bottom block, let's go height bottom block equals win height minus d dot top minus d dot height. I really hope this works again. And width, let's say height bottom and width right. It's going to be width minus d dot left minus d dot, what is it? D dot left, d dot width, I guess. And then chuck those in here. So this is going to be width, height. It's going to be height, bottom. Okay, let's see if that works. Seems to be. And if we shrink this width a bit, refresh that, and then we scroll. Oh, it broke. Why? Maybe this is just wrong. So window.inner width, 852. And we can see, come on, the HTML document is a height of 832. And then, sorry, width of 832 and 714. So that's correct, but what about the height? Okay, what about outer height? Why is it so big? Is that because of the ratio, I guess? Window dot outer height, and then we'll divide by a window dot device ratio, 616. Interesting. But we still have a, so you see at the top there, width of 834 and then 714. Why is that? Jesus, I don't know. Okay, get width of documents. HTML elements. Maybe we'll try this. I don't think we have jQuery working here. Oh, that would be cool. Can I import modules from here? Come on. No. From jQuery. Does that work? No. Okay. So potentially it's this dot width. Perhaps that's a bit better. Dot height. And maybe we'll just print those, Win width. Come on, come on, come on. Win width. Win height. Width like that. Jesus, why is it so slow? Why is it printing? Oh, sorry. Too much Python in my life. Okay, 852 and 0. Interesting. Maybe document? Ooh, I wonder if we need to do a document.ready. Yep. Well, that seems to work. 852.417. But that's of the visible area. It's not what we want. Okay, let's try this one more time. Dot ready. Function. Okay, student. Ooh, okay. That looks better. Okay, 835.714. And if we look at HTML, 835.714. Finally, okay. Thank you, jQuery. So, why is this complaining? Possibly undefined. Okay, cool. I'll get rid of the type errors, and then I guess that should work. It's interesting that it's what's happening here? So why is he rendering off the page now? Why we still got the scrolling errors? God damn. Okay, so you are relative to this guy. It's relative to the document. Or is it? So I guess if we do left of 0, then top of 0, doesn't work. So why is crop rendering below everything now? It should be. Oh, it's not absolute. Oh, how did that happen? Absolute. I think that should fix it. Nope. Do we still need to put a left here? Top 0. Okay, we do. Strange. I think insert 0 does this. KB insert 0. That is a tailwind property. Okay, it does seem to work. Insert 0 does work. Cool. So that's actually doing all of this stuff for me. Maybe that's just a better way to do it instead of doing this crap myself. Chuck an insert 0 on here, and then get rid of this base call. Okay, cool. Nice. So, okay, cool. Seems to work. And then there's no scrolling issues. Some little gap here. I can fix it later. But okay. Jesus, finally I got the elements kind of wrapping around. So the problem now is that they're overlapping. So I think I'll just wrap this in a div. Hope I don't have to do another offset everything or absolute of this div. And then the div itself will have this opacity. So if we do class name, come on, equals opacity 50. Yeah, not divide opacity, just normal opacity. Cool, so that gives us the same thing, but instead of having opacity on every item and so that they overlap, we wrap them in a single item and then opacity that, and so you get a nice opacity. Cool, so now that's sweet. So we can also do a click event on that just single div, and that should work. Cool. Maybe what we want now is drag functionality. I don't know, what should we do? So we can, well, okay, let's first improve that blue border. So this guy, we want to have like dash, border dash. What do we get with tailwinds? Border dashed, and then border 4. Okay, so we've got the kind of UI working, and then border gray 600. Okay, sweet. Not sure what's going on there. So our hover style, border dash, border 2, border gray 600. It's kind of what we have here, right? Border dash, border 4, border gray 600. So why is it appearing white here? Interesting. Oh, it doesn't matter too much. And then we want some drag functionality, I guess, eh? We also want some crop functionality. So I think what I'll use for that is some jQuery magic here. So jQuery comes with draggable. Let's go resizable. Maybe we'll try this first. How do I do this? So jQuery does have a function where you can just like resize stuff and all that magic really easily. So click on hover. Oh, that's a hover event. Let's just go jQuery UI. So we've got draggable, we've got droppable, we've got resizable. That's what we want. So then you have this magic. You can just resize stuff. Okay, cool. How does it work? Use source. Is there an example? API documentation. Yeah, can we just rewrap it in that? I guess the issue now is that we're using Preact and jQuery here. So I don't know. Merging the two is kind of a bit of a fuck around. I think instead, probably we want to just do our own mouse events, right? So in the case of dragging, how do we do that? So just have like a movable event on that guy. And then we want to update its dimensions, right? And that should just auto flow through everything. So maybe we could do a little set state stuff here. So D and then set D. And then we're going to use set state. Hoping Preact has set state. Render. Come on. Set state. Set timeout. Does it import? Looks like it does. Okay. And this will be our initial value. And where does this guy import set state? Okay, let's see. Preact set state. We don't want React. We want Preact. Come on, Preact. Okay, set state. So we do have it. This dot set state. Interesting. So maybe I have to wrap this thing in a component. Set state. Okay, so it should work, right? Set state. Okay, cool. That's what I wanted. Okay, so that's set state working. So hopefully our page renders properly. Okay, wait. Something went wrong here. Let's refresh that. Okay, what's going wrong here? Set state is not defined. Wonderful. Oh, use state. Ah. Oh, of course. It's not set state at all. Use state. And even my React is rusty. So refreshing still doesn't work. It's because this is a list thing. Let's go. Okay, so I was using list unpacking there for that. Okay, sweet. I think I know why it's removing that border style, because it's exactly the same as the hover style. So it starts good. So when I reload the page, the border style looks good. But then because of my hover event, whenever I remove or move away, it actually removes those classes. That's why it's doing that. Okay, good to know. Anyway, okay, cool. So we got the set state stuff working. So now we want to do a little bit of a drag. I'm going to do some drag stuff. So let's have a mouse. So I guess like drag event. That's going to get like an event. And maybe we'll pass in no. How do we want to do this? Maybe we'll just do it in class, right? Inline for now. So style equals that. And then we want to do mouse drag event or something. Let's see what we have here. Mouse down capture. Mouse move is probably what we want. Yeah. I don't know what the capture means. So mouse move, and then we're going to get an event here, and then we'll run a little inline function. And so we want to, I guess, log E. Let's go. Come on. E, yeah. So just make sure that's running. Give you a refresh, and then something broke. No, it looks good. Okay. So, okay, cool. We got mouse working. So let's do, we just want to make sure that mouse is down, right? So click client Y, button. Wait. Oh, okay, that's going to break that. I'm basically looking for a way to see if the mouse is pressed or not. So this is the event we get. Original target. Buttons. If we drag, so I just did a whole bunch of dragging with a click down. Do we get anything here? Not really. Control key, no. God, okay. That's button pressed. Mouse move. Either buttons. It's still 0, right? Oh, okay. No, it was working. Either buttons equals 1. Okay, let's try that. So if e dot buttons is greater than 0, we will log you. Okay, give it a refresh. Okay, so our event's not running, or we're not logging. As soon as I click, yeah, man. Okay, cool. That's working nicely. So then, I guess what we want to do is, I don't know, let's try this a D offset. I wonder if there's like a, So what the client X, is there like a difference? Maybe not. How do we do this? Okay, so like what I'm thinking is like we need to get the difference in X and Y, right? So I guess if we do like, as soon as it detects the mouse movement, yeah, I guess we could do a on mouse down and stuff. So okay, let's do that. On mouse down equals a function on mouse move. So obviously I can clean this up later, and then on mouse up, on mouse up, on mouse down, on mouse whatever, up. Sorry. If anyone's watching this, good on you. I'm surprised you made it this far. So I guess thank you. That's really cool of you. Anyway, so what do I want to do here? When I click mouse down, I want to capture the coordinates, right, of that position. So I'm going to do drag start. And we can do set drag start. I'm just going to use a state that's going to be left of -1, whatever, just a 0, right? Left of 0 and then top of 0. So these are going to be my mouse coordinates. And so when I do a mouse down, yeah, that should work. We can say set drag start, and we want to do e dot. Actually, we want to do left. It's going to be e dot pos x mouse x. Oh, what is that property? What I want is this stuff. X, maybe X is just the thing. Okay, that looks okay. Movement X. I didn't see that before. Does that? Oh, it does pop out. Oh, okay. Screw this. That's what I want, man. Okay, drag start. Don't care. Mouse up. Don't care. We want the movement X, yeah? So we want to set D and update its position. So set D, and it's going to be D. What are we doing? Okay, we want a new D. I'm just going to chuck in a D there. And then I guess new D dot left is going to plus equal E dot movement X. And then top is going to movement Y. And we're going to set the new D. What is this? Top is declared here. Yeah, that does work. Cool. Ooh, yeah, check it out, man. Okay, but we do want to wrap that in the buttons. So if e dot buttons equals 0, then I guess return. So that we only do that on drag. And it's not perfect because, so if I click on that, ooh, it's dragging. Nice. But if I do it too fast, it doesn't quite work, right? Let's see what Firefox does. Click on that. Wrong one. Click on him. It's like really sticky, you know? So it's what it's doing is it's, I guess, capturing that initial X position. And so whenever you capture a new position, it's really precise. Whereas this method is just doing like on a pixel by pixel basis. So if you move really fast, it can actually jump out of the content. So it's okay for now. It's a bit annoying actually, but I can fix that later. But the concept works. Jesus Christ. It took a while to get here, right? But yeah, okay, so let me do one more thing. I just want to see if they had the initial coordinates. So probably not. Props.dimensions. That probably does have it, hey? So if we do, no, it doesn't because it's based on mouse. Sorry, I'm just thinking here. It's good enough for now. What we want to do is this dragging. Now we want some resizing. So it's going to be similar. It's going to have, we're going to have these little mouse move events. So we're going to have to create some corners. So some circle elements, place them at the corner positions. And then as you move those elements, it's going to update this dimension thing again. So that's how we can do a resize. But I think it's getting a bit late and I need to eat, I guess. We've got something working. It's not perfect yet, but I think I'll do some stuff in my own time. And tomorrow we'll do a little recap on how I go. So I'll get the crop working on this, and that should be cool. And then maybe hook up that screenshot again. So create like a little UI, so you can screenshot from this crop UI. And then, yeah, we'll almost have a working product. So yeah, well, I think we'll do that. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. I think tomorrow, actually, I'm going to do a fun little stream. Instead of maybe doing that, showing you this stuff, maybe I'll do an update on the weekend. I'll show you how I did. But tomorrow I want to do something called a Fix Up Friday. So every Friday I want to like dedicate a bit of time to fixing up some old sites. So 4 hours a week or so doing that. So maybe I'll do that tomorrow for the first time. Live stream me fixing up my blog and other things like that. So that might be cool. But yeah, we'll do that then. So yeah, see you tomorrow, guys, and good night.